sour and hard like a green apple.
Oh, it's just called a Honeycrisp. Okay.
Yeah. Here.
It is an apple cultivar developed at the Minnesota Agricultural Experiment Station's Horticultural Research Center. They need to come up with a better name for that place. Jesus.
It's so good.
Oh, here we go. AppleRankings.com. It is the number 4 ranked baking apple.
Okay.
It has a 95 nearly perfect rating.
Yeah. I would give it 99.
Oh, damn. I am curious. What is the highest ranked apple on this app? For baking apples, Rome apples are apparently the best, but they have a 28 despicable rating, so that doesn't really make sense. AppleWhat.com? AppleRankings.com. The most important website that you'll ever use. Oh, okay. So the highest ranking apple is 97. So actually, Honeycrisps are actually ranked 2. They're actually the second highest on this app. On this
They're
website.
that good, bro.
They're that good, apparently. Sweet Tango apples. It's not Sweet Tango. Sweet Tango are
Never
apparently
heard.
the highest rated.
Never tried them.
They're also from Minnesota. Minnesota is apparently just the state of apples, it seems.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, I'm halfway through the apple.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the intro, I will get most of the way through them.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to hit the intro. Let me know when you're ready.
Let me get the link. Oh, just popped up. Yeah, ready.
All right, let's go in 30 seconds. Really
want the footage of you smashing this apple.
Good, you might get it. You might get it.
7 star citizens, and welcome to Answer the Apple, your favorite Apple-related podcast. Now, we're here to talk about Star Citizen. As always, I am here with SaltEMike, who is still chewing a little bit. So I'm going to tell you guys all about the podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about Star Citizen. We get you guys to call in and talk about today pretty much whatever you want, as long as it's Star Citizen related, as it's been a very, very quiet week. We had a monthly report. That was about it. So, Mike, how you doing?
Good. I just swallowed. Oh, my God.
Lovely.
We were talking about apples before the podcast, and we went on AppleRankings.com and everything. It was crazy.
My new favorite website.
And I was apparently eating the number 2 ranked apple in the world.
Yeah.
And it tasted like it. Yeah. So, yeah, a pretty slow week. I wouldn't say the only thing that happened is the monthly report, but
sure.
I think one of the things that I think is positive from what we had last week is a lot of the issues I ran into that were really, really painful for a 4.0.1 were fixed. Now, my painful thing was around Save Stanton. And when I failed a mission, I no longer had any more missions. So if that went live, I don't have the opportunity to recopy and try and do it, right? If it went live with that bug, it was over. Nobody was going to be able to do Save Stanton, most likely, and the only people that did would have gotten lucky. In this case, that is not going to be an issue with that bug fixed, hopefully. But there are lots of fixes that were not fixed. And I don't know if you noticed, if you read any patch notes, did you see them starting to type possible fix instead of fixed?
Yes. They did possible fix, and then there was also another. They're talking about critical issues now as well.
Yep.
Which is cool. I like that they've been like. Of course, they say possible fix because not 9 times out of 10, but a bunch of times the bugs just come back. Or like literally on that patch
Yeah.
because the thing that they thought fixed it doesn't, or like something else causes the same problem.
Yep. So,
but I would like to say, yeah, I like the critical issue change where they're saying like, hey, these are the things that like presumably 100% need to be fixed before launch.
No. So I have some information on that. So this all came out of. I don't want to claim I don't want to be that guy, be the fucking ego guy, because I think that's cringe. But I got really, really frustrated by them saying something was fixed, me being excited for that fix, going into the PTU, and it not being fixed. Like you said, most of the time it's not, right? And that's just bad communication. So I was just getting really frustrated by it, and there were some devs in the chat, as there usually are, and I don't know what ended up happening, but the next day we went from everything saying fixed to 3 possible fixes at the top to all of them saying possible fix, and then that thing. And there was a lot of good back and forth between myself, Zach, and DJ on this. And I asked, why does something like this happen? Because, DJ and Zach are the guys that would typically, I guess they head their teams, but at some point in their career, they would do the fix. But the guy who writes the patch notes, Waka, he's not QA, and he's not the guy that's fixing it. So he's just getting the information and regurgitating that information back to us. And I would get pretty pissed off by the patch notes and be like, come on, man, like, what the hell? And it really comes down to there's some internal problem, right? And the way it was kind of communicated to me is, all right, we recognize that, like, we need to know if this is fixed or not when the dev puts the fix in, right? So the dev puts the fix in, somebody's got to test it. Why are we the ones to test it? That's my frustration, is we don't work for you. We don't. We may enjoy doing this kind of stuff, but we're not on your payroll, and I don't think it's fair to write fixed when it's not. So now the possible fix is like, all right, go check, and then here's this thing where you could say if it worked or not. I think the best part of the communication is they write the issue council number on it, right?
Oh, so really? I did miss that. That is good change.
On all the bugs, you can write, you can go right to that issue council and go not fixed.
Right.
And so and what was communicated to me was the easiest thing to fix right now is the way we communicate to you. The harder thing to fix is internally making those changes. So when we do write the patch notes, this is fixed, or this is a possible fix, or this is a speculative fix, and so on. So they're starting with the communication, which is good, and going from there. But yeah, I got extraordinarily frustrated when they said contested zone components will go on your ship now, and the fix was this is the funny is the fix was before, when you would put a contested zone component and like hit save on the Moby-Glass, it would just disappear. Now you put it on the ship, you hit save, and it stays there in the Moby-Glass. You close the Moby-Glass, open it, and it reverts back to the original thing. So they said it was fixed, and it was like, so you only checked for literally 10 seconds, but if you took 10 more seconds out of your day, you would know that it wasn't fixed, and you would have never marked it as fixed. So it's like, those are the things that need to change. And I continue to say how frustrated I am with the fact that I can take an hour in the morning in the beginning of my stream and recognize half of these are not fixed. Why isn't CIG taking this time? And I am curious how you feel about this, Croncy. I think that there is one major issue around all of Star Citizen's like production process, and that is putting a patch out at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So what ends up happening is, where's most of your QA? Probably in Europe. How can they test? You're not able to test anything. Europeans aren't
I'm
able to
not,
test
but
anything.
I'm not. But to be fair, that's because I have
Well, you're
degen
Australian.
hours.
Yeah,
Technically, in Australia, they launch at like 10 a.m. So it's like actually like a pretty reasonable time.
true. But
I
yeah,
just
you're
am
a
not awake
degen.
at that time.
True. I
But
lived that
I
life for a
still,
long
yeah,
time.
I do agree with you. Yeah, like that's not great time for America or Europe, realistically.
Good, decent time for
Yeah.
America, but it would make a lot more sense to hit Europe on their prime time or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So like, wouldn't it make more sense? And I hate doing this because I've talked about how it's frustrating, but doesn't it just
Mhm.
make sense to like get in everything seven? At the end of the night, you get all your stuff in for the next patch. The next morning, your QA
Yeah.
test it, and then you push it out. It just like I don't know. That makes sense to me from an outsider.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You know.
Could be a structure issue with just the fact that they have the devs in Texas, which I believe are the ones that are actually the ones pushing the patches.
Correct. And I think
Yeah.
maintaining them when they go up. But
Yeah.
remember, if you're pushing them out at 10 a.m. to like noon Eastern time,
Mm.
that is 9 a.m. Austin time where they live.
Mhm.
So they come into the office and their whole day is spent working on that stuff. And guess what they don't have to do? Be in the office all night. Right? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like, wouldn't that be just better for everyone? So that's like from the outsider that knows nothing about what goes on the inside. You just look at it and you go,
Yeah.
wouldn't this just be better? But I'm sure there's a reason why it's not, you know?
Yeah, I would actually love to hear if anyone calls in today that works really just like in tech.
In that field, yeah.
That has to do like patch releases and stuff or whatever, like
Am I
update
totally
releases.
off base? You know?
Yeah, like what's the
I
deal?
assume
Like,
I am.
is there something we just don't know, or is
Yeah.
it genuinely, yeah, it might be an issue with CRG? Who knows?
Yeah.
So tell us, let us know.
Yeah, curious.
Yeah.
Outside of that, yeah, that was like there are some good fixes. There are some not
Mhm.
fixed things yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we got a monthly report. If you want to jump into that, I can bring it up on the screen.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest bits of news because it is the November and December monthly report from the end of last year, which also make a point of is right after CitizenCon. So it's all the work that they started doing right after SitCon. There's a little bit, very, very small amount of IAE stuff in this, but when we get to the ship section, I do actually want to talk about it. It's like the shortest ship section, but it's actually like
Huge.
very telling. Yeah.
Do you want to go right to it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Like the AI, there's not like there's a lot of good info in like the AI sections and stuff, just not necessarily like new stuff. It's just like we're working on the things that we're told you we're working on type thing.
Before we go, can we?
Yeah, hacking and door panels. Now in my head, I was like, are they talking maybe about just contested zones with door panels? But no, I think it might be a little bit further than that. Because well, hacking doesn't really exist yet in the game still. So
No.
yeah.
Nope. I thought you were going to talk for a while,
Also,
so I
yeah.
thought I had an Apple opportunity. The Valacar 2 is
Yep.
is another one that is like, oh, so what we did here at the end of the year, like, hey, we want to get this thing in your hands pretty quickly, is
Mhm.
absolutely still possibly the case.
Mhm.
So that's good too. But back to hacking, this could mean anything. But when
Yeah.
they say door panels, it's like, oh. But
Yeah.
are you just doing this for some random ass mission, or are you doing this for ships? Are you doing, like how far are you going to take this? And
Yeah, worth noting
curious.
this is in the animation section, not the core gameplay, which is when
Correct.
it becomes a lot more relevant for us.
Exactly. So it all comes down to where is the actual priority on this, and why are you doing it?
Yeah.
No one's really telling us that there. But was something interesting to point out. But
Mhm.
I'll let you go on ships because it is big.
Yeah.
It's a big boy.
Yeah, so as normal, it starts off with them saying, like, look, we've got ships in for the production line that are still getting produced, blah, 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 that we haven't talked about. But then they go and talk about, these ships that are currently being worked on that we do know about: the Pioneer, the Ironclad, the Paladin, Starlance Attack, CSV, FM, Apollo, and Perseus. Now, when I first read this, I was like, well, November, December, that's IAE, right? So a lot of this actually probably just has to do with that. But then I realized they left out like all the IAE ships.
Yeah.
And as well as they also left out the what's it called? The Mirai, my boy, the Big Fury, Fat Fury.
Yep. Like,
That
just
was
read the
completely
first
left out as well.
sentence. Read the first sentence.
Yeah.
Shipyard team spent the end of 2024 putting the finishing touches on upcoming vehicles that will be revealed or released this year.
Yeah.
So this is all about this year.
It is, yeah. The big thing, my takeaway from all these ships that they talk about here, Pioneer, the Ironclad possibly, likely are just continuing to get work on them because of crafting. I still think they are still too far away and we won't see them this year, but they do have work like required on them because a big feature that is sort of like a part of them is coming, right?
Well, the big ships tend to take a year or more, so these could be worked on throughout the entire year, and we could see an update for it every single month throughout the year. And but I agree with you that I mean, they're intending to release it this year. It sounds like, but
I think the Ironclad maybe. I think Ironclad intended release this year is
Pioneer seems the most unlikely out of everything on this list, right? But I think the interesting thing is you got Pioneer that introduces gameplay. You have potential Ironclad that introduces gameplay with that repair station in the back. CSV FM state, if we're going to get base building, it's probably going to be with something like this first, and potentially the Apollo as well, that has unique gameplay with it. Technically, maybe you get an update to medical along with the Apollo. So lots of ships, but gameplay related ships that might get an update to their gameplay when they come out. Hopefully, if CIG starts getting better at things, we'll see. But that's what I look at, and I'm like, oh, and they're also in possible white and gray box. So like, kind of moving along, right?
Yep. And then important to note, the ones that you didn't mention, like the ones that don't necessarily introduce new gameplay. So the Paladin, the Silence Attack, and the Perseus. The Paladin feels like it's probably a lot further along than maybe it seemed. They would have had some work from the Valkyrie, although the Valkyrie is a very, very old model at this stage. So I wouldn't be even surprised if they completely started from scratch after initial concept artwork. But could very well possibly see it in Invictus. Starlance Attack could be the other one that we possibly see it in Invictus because the Starlancer already exists. It was made in conjunction with the other Starlancers.
Throw some turrets on there and you're good. It's probably going to be the first one we see, right?
Probably. But then the Perseus. They mentioned all of the work that they did on the Polaris. A lot of that crosses over with the Perseus, which I imagine will be a lot of just like sort of like internal details, a lot of design language type stuff. The Perseus is still quite a large ship. Obviously not to the scale of like the Pioneer or the Ironclad, but still probably requires something like 12 months of development. So I think like my call is that's going to be our big IAE ship this year is the Perseus.
Yeah, and I bet you like something like the Apollo comes with it. Something like that.
Could see it happen,
yeah. And even IAE is the end of the year one, right?
Yeah.
So maybe even things like the Argo CSVFM where, I can't see crafting / base building being a 4.1 or 4.2 if they're going to go through the quarterly stuff being a thing. I mean, we've talked about that, right? It's probably pretty far away. So, yeah. Anything in this report that stuck out to you as well?
So one of the big things is, and I talked about when we did our like predictions for this year, was dynamic weather.
Yeah,
as predicted, it is further.
Here.
Yeah, as predicted, it is further along than we were maybe led to believe at CitizenCon, or at least the way that I interpreted the videos that they displayed. It is a lot further along. We saw the dynamic clouds be introduced. The way that they talk about this, the way they talk about rain accumulation, and the fact that it is still going to be the way that they said, where it's like all tied into the planetary information. To me, this is saying we're going to see this year. I don't think we're going to see it 4.1, 4.2, but once again, maybe towards the end of the year, this stuff be implemented, which would be awesome because it does a lot for sort of environmental storytelling. It does a lot for, dare I say, immersion. And now that we've got a lot more missions that are sort of outside, weather becomes a lot more of a very sort of cinematic experience.
But even rain accumulation based on what they've talked about, like biomes having certain materials and things like that, would be like
Yep.
moisture was one of the things that would determine what the biome would have in it. So it could be all
Yep.
sorts of things like that. I would be
Mhm.
careful with your prediction just because we have seen things sit in the R&D section for a really long time. So
That's true. That's true.
I would this could be one of our fun bets where we create a new character for each other.
Mhm.
Where I would say maybe we don't get the weather this year. You know, just to have a fun little bet between the two of us. One of the other things, I don't think it's an online technology. I don't know where it is on the list here. Yes, here you go. The team also finalized internal support for Vulkan and rolled it out as the default renderer for developers. That's when things mean that they're coming to us soon. That is a big
Yeah.
deal. And yeah, this is what we get out of that. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yep.
CPU performance on multi-core machines, and
So don't worry, guys. You don't have to buy 5090s yet.
yeah, that like don't go crazy. We'll see. Let's see how performance is with our current gen stuff, and yeah, that's it, it's interesting. A lot of the other stuff was November, December stuff that we've already seen, but there were a couple good ones to pick out from here, and I definitely think the weather was one, and I definitely think some of the ship stuff was certainly one, and
I imagine, like, in
the
terms of
hacking.
like, the hacking. Usually we spend the monthly reports sort of looking at, like, all right, well, they've announced these features. Where exactly are they in terms of like production? But because they haven't done like an official announcement, other than the stuff that got pushed from 4.0
Mhm.
about what is going to come over the course of the next few patches, where they're kind of keeping that a little bit close to their chest. I imagine over the course of the next few weeks, as we start to get back into IOCs and SCLs, which I think we're still a week and a half away from the first ISC of the year, because I
Yeah.
think they said it was going to be in February. Um, we're still going to be waiting, unfortunately, but yeah, once we get that, hopefully we'll get some more info.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care as much about 4.0.1. It's just trying to make
Yep.
4.0 not as horrible as it's been. And
Mhm.
I just it's time to look forward again, and I look forward to being able to look forward again, which is always
Yeah.
nice about that stuff. Speaking of looking forward, look at this transition. We have an epic month ahead, apparently.
Yeah.
Save Santa in Chapter 2. None of this stuff seems epic, by the way. Just
Yeah.
in my opinion. Save Santa in Chapter 2. The rewards, we'll see how epic they are. I mean, we've seen some leaks of them. It just seems like skins and an FPS weapon or something. But we'll talk about the Squadron 42 newsletter in just a minute.
Yep.
There's an In Case You Missed It sale where they sell all of the ships they sold last year. So
Yeah, all the new ones, right?
yeah, nothing's changed. Is what scares me. I'm starting to feel scared already for this year. Nothing's changed. Red Festival.
They can't not sell ships. My like what do you call it? I guess my expectations are just that this year has no gold ticket-esque things. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
That would be good. That would be good.
Yeah.
Red Festival, again, red skins. I believe all of these are old. Yeah, these were all last year's Year of the Dog stuff. So
yeah, so
don't know what we're going to get this year.
Stuff. Yeah, they'll throw the logo on. Like we're saying, it should be Year of the Snake, as it is Year of the Snake, and we confirmed with chat 2955 is also Year of the Snake. So
okay.
That should be the case. Is we get some stuff for that. So yeah.
Yeah, and this one is one of the. I point this out in Week in Review. I haven't recorded it yet, but I will. Chat's saying it's pig. I don't know.
All right. Well, then whoever, like 30 minutes ago, or said 2955 is also Snake, just ban them from your chat.
Yeah, you're banned. So the one unique thing about Red Festival, and I'm going to say this wherever I possibly can, it's not just red paint skins. It's not just these red envelopes. They have given out those wooden figurines of the thing. How you get that wooden figurine is by logging in. It is the only event that we have a login reward for the entire year. So just make sure you log in.
Yep.
Lunar New Year starts in 4 days on Wednesday. This
2 days for me.
Yeah, this is super meaningful because it started on 4 days from yesterday. Only 3 days from today. This is super meaningful. This will be the factor that decides, is CIG changing or is CIG the same that they've always been? 4.0.1 is not ready as of the recording of this podcast. It is not ready. Most of the fixes are not good, and there has been zero stability testing of any kind, because every time I've been in, there's about 100 players total that are testing on the PTU.
I had 400 players tonight, which was pretty good. But
okay, cool.
Still, regardless
not enough.
of that, nowhere. Well, not even necessarily enough. 100% the patch is not ready.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and you're probably seeing it more because you have 400 players, where I don't see it as much. I have 100, right? So, and there's like 7 on the server that I'm on. So it's like,
sure.
Yeah. This is Wednesday. If the marketing event determines when a patch goes out, it will come out on Wednesday. If they are getting better, they will put it out when it's ready. And they'll do this in 4.0 preview and just, all right, you get your, because what's good about this is just throw the envelopes in, no big deal, sell your stuff on the website. You don't need to do anything with the game. Yeah. Right? So
I was
fingers
about to
crossed.
Say, will they even put it in preview? But I guess they probably should, because that's where persistence is like carrying over.
Correct.
The caveat I'll say is, when they've had events like this before, they have done them without big patches. They have put them in with just like incredibly small, barely a hotfix type patches. So that's what I'm expecting for this, because there's no way. So today I went into 4.0.1. Monox is still absolutely trash. Whatever's going on with the DPS there. Oh, it was the worst today.
It stopped happening to me, and I don't know. That makes it like, wait, what? Like for Croncy, the entire week I've been able to go to Monox. So if it was Monox all the time, you would think it would be an easier thing to fix. Now it's not all the time, so now it's like, oh my god, so maybe they're not going to be able to fix it, because that was one of the things listed in the most recent patch, right? That they fixed. Well, it was potential fix, obviously, like we had discussed. Yeah, potentially fixed the Monox interaction delay, but you said so you're still having it.
Yeah, no, absolutely garbage today, and it's an important one to note, because the missions for stage 2 can take you there. So if Monox isn't working, like, it's already a critical issue. If it's then not working and the event that you're trying to do tells you to go there, then people are just gonna it'll just be garbage. It'll be terrible. So that is just one of the big examples of like critical issues. So it's just nowhere near. So I expect for Red Festival, we'll see that, very, very short patch into 4.0. It'll have, like, they already have all the
we'll call it.
Yeah, in the preview, most likely. I will say, actually, these rewards are usually also account bound, so there is a world where it goes into live and not preview.
Good point, because the rewards are only logging in and just existing. Like you get, I'm pretty sure everybody gets the envelopes, no matter what, and the login reward is the wooden figurines. I'm pretty sure. So it doesn't matter what patch. Yeah, they can put it anywhere. It doesn't matter, and just cook the patch properly, please, please, guys.
So yeah, I think it'll be fine. I just, mostly because 4.01 is so scuffed. It's like it is. It feels like it's in a worse state than 4.0 was before they launched it.
Yeah. And you're not even dealing with the scale that 4.0 would have had, right? With like, tons of people and all that stuff. So yes, very interesting kind of, to see what they do. There'll be a referral bonus which
Yep.
is
It's pretty normal.
pretty normal. I'm tired of
Yep.
getting I'm getting tired of the normal. This is a first world problem thing. I have like 20 dragonflies at this point. Like they've done
Yeah.
it so many times with the dragonfly. Like I'll take a coin. I'll take like small trinket, like just a little thing. I don't
Yeah.
care. A paint, I don't know. But the
See, but that's the thing. It's because it's not for you. It's for the new player joining to get the dragonfly, right?
yeah, but then you
That's
also
why
get
it's
it
important.
too, which is like,
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like you're already playing. They're not trying to convert you to play Mike, so they don't care what reward you get. They only care about the reward the new player gets, so that they can spend more money.
true. But
Yeah.
they want us to have meaningful rewards for us. Therefore, we would peddle more referrals. Like
Sure.
you're not going to see me peddling referrals, but for the average person, they probably like to see the referral count go up. I'm pretty proud of my low referral count, to be honest.
Nice.
No.
What you could do, which would be interesting, is you could have like, so the referee could get like, yeah, maybe after they've got a dragonfly or something already, it gets less.
Yeah, just give me the skin. Don't give me the ship.
Yeah,
that's. I'd be. I cool
mean,
with
actually, realistically, the problem that you might be having is just hanger entries in RSI. Maybe that's just the issue.
I have too many things in my people. Every time I stream, people are like, "Look at how much money this guy spent," and I'm like, "It's all referral rewards. I barely have anything now because I have." This giant Polaris and this giant other thing. I don't even have a mole anymore. I had to melt everything that I actually like to be able to show off the new stuff. And it's like, I actually don't have that expensive of an account. Like other streamers are way more expensive than I am. And, but I'm constantly getting crap because of all these little referral ones.
I mean, I will say, I am glad that they give out the Dragonfly instead of any other Gravlev because they're all like, Gravlevs are still not in a great spot, but all the rest are so trash.
Yeah. We found that out at Daymar Rally. That's how we lost. We were in an Ox. Free fly's coming, of course. So prepare for things to get even worse.
There's always a start of year free fly. Pretty normal.
Yep. Nothing new there. One of my favorite events is this one. There's two really good. At least, it's the first time they did this last year. There were two really good Arena Commander based rewards. One of them was winning a duel match in like ships.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one I can't remember, but I think it might have been Gun Rush or coming first in a like a squad battle, which was like really challenging actually, like because there's some sweaty people. So being on a winning team and coming first, I can't remember what the reward was. Probably a coin, but yeah, I just remember loving that event and thinking it was cool. And then Crux Cup,
a 24-hour race. Let's go. This is gonna be cursed.
Yeah, that is.
Echo-Bit is a glutton for punishment, but I'm so excited. It's gonna be good fun.
That's nuts, but we love her. They're going to do the Bar Citizen World Tour again, and I think you can post where you're doing Bar Citizens, and hopefully
they're still not going to come. I actually have a proper gripe with this. This is like the third year of Bar Citizen World Tours, possibly the fourth, actually. I guess this is the start of the fourth year of Bar Citizen World Tour. They have still not once come to Australia in this entire time.
And they used to go to Australia every year.
Yeah, one of the like biggest, at least I've heard from people, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like one of the biggest like Star Citizen like announcements about showing stuff and whatnot was at PAX Australia, I believe.
Yep.
So in like 2014 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't come to Australia anymore. We're about to have a Bar Citizen in 2 weeks that is going to be the largest Australian Bar Citizen we've ever had, which we just made on a whim. Like, please just come to Australia. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's silly, but and that's it. I mean, I'm just hoping they go to Orlando again because I had a pretty good time the last time. Yes. But so that's it. Where was this one? I don't know this city, but it looks like a big one. It looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, that was the epic month ahead. Not that epic. Nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, like a couple of Yeah, a
Little
couple of like
events.
the dynamic events we get at the start of the year. Yeah, cool. That'll be fun, whatever. But really, it's just
But also
we just want a stable 4.0 of some description to play.
exactly. And the expectation of March, April being when something actually changes is looking very obvious at this point.
Yeah.
So,
No.
yeah. Keep set those expectations right. They're setting them for you.
Mhm.
Right there. The sneak peek we talked about, not really a
Yeah.
point in bringing that up. And then we can go into the Squadron newsletter, and then we can probably go to callers. By the
Yep.
way, callers, I have not looked at the list in a few minutes.
Full at the moment.
Full at the moment, quite a few. Maybe we keep it that 5-minute timer because I imagine people are going to want to call in
Mhm.
as we go. So whatever topic you're thinking about talking about, since it's viewer choice topics, as long as it's Star Citizen related, let's try to keep you guys around 5 minutes. All right.
Mhm.
All right. So the Squadron newsletter. You liked the video.
Yeah. Oh my god. So I completely skipped the newsletter. I tend to skip everything that they talk about in regards to like when the monthly report comes out and when they do the Squadron monthly report. I tend to skip it because it's 99% like the same stuff. And then they just talk about like, we worked on storyline B, we worked on voice acting and stuff. And it's like that's cool stuff, but it's stuff that I assume is always happening, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't really feel like news. This was really cool. So they did this. It showed some little sneak peeks of the live recording for the Squadron 42 soundtrack. And oh my god, these songs absolutely bang! I am so into it.
And the difference between the final mix and the original, like on the iPhone, is so different. It
Mhm.
sounds really good. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they really brought in the meat after, it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they went super hard. I love right at the end they show like 5 bagpipes
Yeah,
in the like in because I believe this is at Abbey Road too, but they get like 5 bagpipes, just getting the whole room sound and everything. I did my like tertiary education in audio engineering, so I was having a field day watching all this, and yeah, I
badass.
love it. Super super exciting.
People were asking, so Pedro doesn't do Squadron 42? No, Star Citizen
Correct.
has two um, composers, one for the PU and one for
Mhm.
Squadron. Jeff Sinelli is the one that is doing the one for Squadron, although that doesn't look like Jeff Sinelli from what I remember him, so I have no idea.
Yeah, the conductor may not be Jeff, but
Okay.
the composer certainly is.
I thought
The
the composer and the
Yeah,
conductor were the same person, but I guess that's just how it was when I was a
not
kid.
necessarily no.
Yeah, because
Um,
money
so
in school. All right, they're probably going to do both
um,
jobs.
uh, but yeah, the one thing that I did sort of notice when I was listening to this, and since we've had like extra Pedro tracks be added to Star Citizen, is surely Jeff and Pedro are having like meetings every couple of weeks trying to make sure that like the music in both games is a bit uniform, like it gives off the similar vibes and whatnot.
Mhm.
Because they do, they're these really epic space opera songs that sort of work in both games.
Oh, can I just like sneak in something that
Yeah.
was so cool that we did yesterday? I
Mhm.
was quantum traveling for like 30 hours trying to do safe stand stuff,
Mhm.
and it was so annoying. And we started watching old ship commercials.
Yep.
And the Carrick commercial from 5 years ago had the same. It was like it is the jump point song that we have now.
Ah, lovely. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
so
it
using the
was
same sort of motifs and stuff.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
awesome. It was so
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah. I don't know, more stuff. I found this to be just so goofy. You seem to like it, or did you only like the
Yeah.
audio stuff?
Oh, that's all I watched. I didn't look at the whole rest of the newsletter.
The rest of the newsletter is so stupid. Oh my
Okay.
god, dude, it's wallpapers.
Oh, and then I saw them be like, you can install ringtones and stuff as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
ringtones for your phone. What is it? 1999? What is this? Oh yeah, I forgot our community's 60 years old. They're definitely
100%.
using ringtones.
Yeah.
And you can buy stickers for $12, but it's a pre-order and then you have no
Yeah.
idea when you're actually going to get them. What?
I did hear about there's also like a competition though that does sound kind of cool, which is I think you get some of the sheet music from Squadron
Mhm.
that they used in the recordings, which is kind of cool. That's a cool piece of
That
memorabilia.
is neat. That is neat.
No.
But this is very boomer stuff right here.
Yes.
Wallpapers and ringtones and stuff. It is
Also,
this is
they've
funny.
already done the best wallpapers. It's those ones that they did for the end of ISC last year, where we had those like the
Yep.
Pico planets, and
Yep.
like Jax McClary holding a fish. You can't outdo that. So don't even bother.
Honestly, they do the best wallpapers every single week. There's something
Yeah.
new that has been captured in the game or mocked up in a certain way
Yeah.
that just looks incredible. Yeah, every day there's a good wallpaper. Somebody's using it. So, saying that these curated ones are the best, these are the ones you want, and here you go in the newsletter, kind of goofy. But I just wanted to say that I really like the Squadron 42 monthly report because I think you can correlate work that's going on in Squadron that could be coming over to Star Citizen. Like they were always talking about push and pull mechanics all last year. And that was something that we were all expecting to see in 2024 at some point, and we never got. So it was always, something that you could do. And then this is now going completely shying away from that and going in a direction that is probably a little too early for a 2026 release. It feels like, it feels like it would be for this year. If they were releasing Squadron this year, you could start hyping it up with stuff like this. But I was a little bummed out by that, just a tiny bit. Squadron monthly report never did too much for me anyway. But that's my little thoughts on it. It was like kind of whatever.
Yeah, fair.
I think I'm not entirely ready for colors because I haven't put anybody on the line yet. But do you want to talk about very quickly? Is there anything? If you were to be a caller and call in, what would you want? Like, what would be your topic right now?
See, Mike, I get to do that every week. That's the problem.
I know, but we don't because we usually like go over the news.
Yeah, true. I would probably call in asking you about like I went a little bit over it. I don't remember if it was last week, but it was a recent episode about like with the release of Pyro, like certain mechanics don't seem like they're going to work the way that CIG had thought they would in the past, right? Like as in like the way that players are interacting with Pyro and all of Pyro's systems seem to make some things redundant, some things very old, that sort of stuff. So honestly, it'd be like, what's the rescope of Star Citizen now that Pyro's out and the game exists?
Yeah.
And things have to be reevaluated. Like, what does that look like now?
Yeah. Mine would be all about cargo. That's all I've been thinking about lately. Is
freighter on the mind.
Yeah, but like cargo ships, I've been for the last 3 weeks, I have been watching YouTube videos about real world cargo ships. That's it.
Yeah.
Nonstop. And I originally was doing it to like gather information for a YouTube video, which is coming. I've just been so busy with trying to finish Save Stanton Chapter 1. This week I finished Save Stanton Chapter 1 on 3 different accounts.
Nice. Did you have much problems with the address?
I had much problems with everything. With literally everything. Yeah, it was brutal.
Yep.
It was brutal.
Yep.
But it's done. And yeah. So, all right, I'm ready now. So we can go to callers whenever you want.
So we'll bring our first caller just to let everyone know. So all of our callers today are going to be about a bit more broad topics as, there's just not a lot of stuff going on in Star Citizen this week. Hopefully that changes next week. If you want to call in on Twitch, !podcast, follow the link, go into the green room. We are full at the moment, but we'll see how we go with all the callers.
Mm-hmm.
If you are on YouTube, it is in the description. In addition, it is above our the chat there. It's pinned. Follow the link. Green room. Call in. Easy.
Welcome, an actual cannibal. You're on the line.
How you doing?
We're back. We're confident. We have a louder mic now.
Yay!
Lovely.
Yeah, I just wanted to crack my back. Millennial pains. Wanted to talk about just generally salvage. I know
nice
because Fortunes come out. We got to see kind of like how design is. Go ahead and click it off your bingo cards. Here's your free space. Eve mentioned. Kind of a little.
Also,
Deb, you mentioned it first before us. Holy
yeah,
crap.
it's crazy. Also, don't.
Uh,
I know there were some leaks out there. Don't give too many
for
details for
sure,
the people who don't want to know them,
absolutely.
like myself.
I'll just kind of go off of what you've speculated on your videos, which is you've seen. We're pretty sure it's a freelancer variant. It's got, external storage probably. It probably has about the same max capacity as the Vulture. Main difference, Vulture has internal capacity versus the Fortune's like external capacity.
Mhm.
We're pretty sure it has
theoretically the two laser differences is like
right the two
another.
laser versus the one laser. It got in my head. I'm like, I have to like analogize it to like, well, I kind of wish it had more storage because it's like it has one laser, uh, maybe more storage. Kind of the same difference between, say, a Retriever and a Hulk, or sorry, a Mackinac and a Hulk, which are for people who aren't an Eve, are mining barges. The Mackinac has bigger storage, but it can't mine as fast, while the Hulk has less storage, but it can mine much faster. Used in team play versus solo play. Where we could see the Fortune as more of a solo play ship, whereas the Vulture be used in more team play ship. But I don't think that I think that kind of denotes a difference in how Star Citizen works because you haven't. Our kind of version of that is external versus internal storage. The time to moving things from one ship to another is cut because you don't have to just throw it out the back of the Vulture. You are getting, and it kind of positions the Vulture as more of like a ninja ship, which more vernacular, more jargon. A ninja ship is a ship that's like designed to get in and grab as much resources as fast as possible and get out of like kind of a hostile area.
It's
And
just self
safely get
salvage
in.
for when like Billy kills
Exactly.
a hammerhead that's got all of the like best cargo and stuff. As they go to get their salvage ship, you sneakily grab all the salvage and then run away.
Right, exactly. And I think that kind of that vibes with like Misk's whole like we're the company ship people. They're not Caterpillar, but they're like what's a good another like farm ship?
John Deere, maybe, because they're more.
Same
John
brain
Deere's
cell.
pretty high tech.
Give me a Misk advertisement now.
Exactly.
Just super southern, extremely like
it's just the base building trailer, but the guy like rolls up his garage and it's just a bunch of different Misk freelancer variants. But that brings me on to the other thing that I think about pretty often whenever you guys talk about like when everyone talks about it, is like Argo needs a salvager, and I don't really agree.
Yeah, I don't know if they do either. I feel like Argo to me are like they're like a big brand manufacturer, if that makes sense. Like if you are a company that does mining, you will buy all Argo ships, right? They are super utilitarian. They probably have like every second part on the ship probably swaps with another like Argo ship type thing. Like it feels very much like that to me, and I feel like they are a bit more suited to the slightly more logistical stuff, where it is pure resource gathering and cargo movement that doesn't necessarily imply the possibility of illegal like vehicle salvaging, if that makes sense.
And it really like they're a
But I
railroad
want
company,
one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
This is understandable. Yeah.
But I want one. Okay.
They are
as we're
they
clear.
are a railroad company, like first and foremost.
Yes,
All of their
yeah.
ships key into that. You have the SRV that can pick and move things great distances. The raft moves things pretty quickly from orbital to suborbital.
And
you
the
have
raft
all these MPUVs
has the exact same SCU as the mole, right?
Yes, exactly. And the mole is, pretty light team store can go out, grab some easy resources to manufacture on site, some like replacement parts or anything. And so I see Argo. We have that the fucking silhouette of that Atlas variant. I would not put it past Argo to work with the Atlas variant and say, well, we don't have a ground salvage vehicle, but they have a pretty decent chassis. Let's just put some salvage stuff inside that chassis. And they run a sort of like pick and pull thing where they
Just
have.
quickly, are you talking about the Atlas platform, which is
Yeah, the Atlas platform.
So
Which one?
The ballista, the Centurion, that sort of
The
stuff.
Ballista Centurion, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Because we
Yeah.
now actually have the Atlas, but a reminder. It is
Yeah.
actually called
Oh,
the
sure,
Atlas,
yeah.
because-
And we were talking about Argo, so I was confused. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't
Yeah,
know
for
about
sure.
the silhouette.
For sure.
Okay.
Well, because like
Yeah.
we had that like oh, maybe I thought it was an Atlas silhouette. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right. There was
Okay.
like a ballista variant silhouette from N+.
Yep.
Okay. I can fully see Argo approaching Anvil about that and saying, well, like lore wise, saying, hey, you guys have this pretty decent vehicle. We want to put a bunch of salvage equipment on it. And I honestly would, and they just like run a sort of like pick and pull business where you have people bringing like old ships to this Argo facility where they have a bunch of different little like SRVs and MPUVs running around organizing all these ships. You go, you grab parts. They keep the most parts that they want for themselves that they can then put into their own manufacturing and business because again, they're a railroad company. They just need materials to build more rails.
Okay. Well,
That's just
that's
my
about
thing.
5 minutes too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I love the speculation stuff around ships sometimes. So that's fun. But
Yeah, it's good fun.
but I want my Argo salvager. So
That's fair.
You're allowed to
out.
have it. You're
Perfectly
allowed to have it.
reasonable.
All right, Cannibal. We'll let you go. Thanks for
Cheers,
calling
man.
in, man.
For sure.
Yeah, have a good one.
Bye now.
Later.
All right, so that was Cannibal. Our next caller is Frosty, and Frosty is one of our mods that help out and stuff. So thank you very much, Frosty, for everything you do. And he helped out big time on something a couple days ago. So thank you again.
Welcome. So my topic is probably the Squadron 42 newsletter. If you see in the video, there was a scene that I don't think we've ever seen before. Is the opening credits, a little piece of the opening credits, which is good to see. And obviously, I think it's a very good change to have, because obviously with the last like monthly report, it was basically a copy and paste to start seeing someone. We've had a few added bits, so
it often is. Yeah.
Where was the opening credits? I didn't notice this.
So you can see it on it starts off pretty soon. There's like a screen up top. You can see some coffins. Yeah, it'll be after. Yeah, it's around there. So you can see some coffins. You see the credits rolling through. And spoilers in this video. I will do a thumbs up when you can listen again if you don't want to listen. 100% it is Gillian Anderson in that big coffin at the front for sure, guaranteed. All right, thumbs up. You guys can watch it.
I would say it would depend on what you do in the prologue, if you save her or not. But yeah,
maybe it's a choice.
Yeah, and obviously it's probably something that CRG would do. But yeah, I think it's a good change to have, because it would then. I will say this as well. I think it's kind of a little bit of a soft launch of the marketing, because they can easily put in features and get to that we've already seen before, but also that could tie into what we would get in the PU, with the added books and that. But yeah, it's a good change, and obviously I do agree with the ringtone that is a little bit cringe. no one's gonna really use them.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I mean, the bagpipes,
yeah.
when you actually like play the ringtone, it's kind of like, all right, I could see it. Like I can see it, but I would never do it myself. But yeah.
Yeah. What I will say, because you mentioned, like might be a soft launch of them sort of marketing Squadron. Do keep in mind a lot of the time when they're showing behind the scenes stuff, it is just Star Citizen. I wouldn't be surprised if a hefty amount of ISCs and SCLs this year, assuming Squadron actually is on track for next year, are about some Squadron stuff and showing us a little bit more inside the stuff that they've done over the course of the last, dear God, 13 years.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think I'm looking more forward to Squadron because I'm a single player story centric guy. That I like a good story, but what they're doing with Star Citizen right now is not really. I don't really have the confidence right now. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to the features that the showed off at CitizenCon, like Genesis, base building, the social stuff, etc. But do I have the confidence for them to
Tell a
they
good
talk
narrative.
about play exactly, take actually change and do the playability, but also still provide content that we can enjoy. I don't believe that they can until they show that they can. I'm not gonna dive in that well, basically. So yeah, I'm more looking forward to Squadron than I am.
The
if they
more
can
they
change their
get,
minds, yeah.
the more they get proud of things like Save Stanton, the more I get scared that they think it's good.
I have a my theory of how Squadron is going to go based on what they showed us last year, and sort of just like the amount of lore and stuff that they built up for the game. Is I do think they have a great narrative team working in some really good lore and some really good background story. Based on the trailer, it does seem like a really engaging story off the bat. Whether that continues, obviously, is completely up for grabs, but like I think they can probably continue that. The thing that I think will happen is the gameplay is probably going to be fine, and nothing particularly crazy. I do think though they have a good chance of delivering a really really good story.
Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, hopefully, but yeah, it's just right now. It's like last night I tried to go into the PU, came out to QT over Monarchs and started rapidly, spinning out of control, and then ended up on the planet's surface, completely fine, able to move, and then 10 minutes later I just randomly blow up. So, yeah, I don't really have that confidence right now until they show it and they can actually do it. Then it is what it is.
Yep.
That's it from me.
All right, Frosty, but yeah, I appreciate it, and that's a good point that Squadron might be on ISC a little bit this year. I didn't even think of that. But all right, Frosty, we'll let you go, brother.
Yeah.
See ya.
Gotcha, Frosty.
I know.
Thanks again.
All right, next caller, Rocket Us.
How you doing?
Hey, this is so my topic is Pyro and an event I'd like to see there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
But a little bit of backstory, which I'm trying to cut down for time. So Pyro is actually pretty special if you pull up a star map. There's like 12 systems that can only be accessed through either Pyro, a system on the Vandal frontier, and a system on the Cyan frontier.
Yep.
So everything in those systems, including all the military bases that have to support those frontiers, has to go through Pyro.
Mm-hmm.
Or one of those other two, but given where most of the manufacturers are, mostly through Pyro. So you it's kind of like the Black Sea, where it's not the Black Sea that's important, it's all the trade passing through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got, people with an agenda throwing rockets at the shipping going through the area.
What do you mean? Xenothreat would never do such a thing.
Of course not. So Pyro itself is a burnt out system, is a mined out system. There's nothing worth corporately mining there anymore. So that's not actually supposed to be their major industry. Their major industry is supposed to be those giant convoys going through and, taking a little off the top or off the bottom or off the back of the truck.
Yeah. Plus, I imagine, like, even within regards to that, well, it's been a while since I've looked at the star map, but I believe even for where it's not like like even for the ones that like you can access star systems other places, pyro is still a shortcut, is my understanding for a lot of them. So it's like you will still have those people be like, well, I could go through 20 different systems, go super roundabout way through all these safe systems, or I could risk it through pyro. And then the industry still becomes like, we're going to try to pirate these people or pay the pirates to not attack us and let us through type thing.
Yeah.
Looking at the star map now, it's not even that it's a shortcut, it's that the only other options go through systems that the UEE can shut down because there's tensions with the Xeon. That is the long
Sure.
way around.
Yeah.
But for an event I'd like to see is just it is a shipping day, and the Nyx jump point or the Oso or Caster jump points have like big contracts to take lots of cargo to the Stanton, Cano, and Terra or Hadrian jump point. And like this is not something that's secret or anything. It's an event that's happening, and the pirates know that your people are going to be taking these big, worthwhile jobs.
Yep.
And then there's the ones going backwards, where Stanton, Terra, Cano are going to be taking military supplies up to Nyx and some of the other Nyx and Castra for the military bases up there. And those would be things to grab that would justify how much weapons there are in Pyro.
Yeah. I'll say that I don't think this necessarily needs to be like an event in the scale of the events that we've had in Star Citizen in the past, because what you are describing has happened in the game already. The biggest example that I can think of is
he's describing
like
the dynamic economy.
Pretty much, yeah. But there was like those commodity alerts about the tech supplies. What were they? The electronic whatever.
Visual.
That were audiovisual equipment.
Audiovisual equipment, yeah.
That was like super worth for this one period of time. I believe it was Invictus. And the player pirates, at the very least in this, like when this happened, did know that people were doing that route and did try to intercept and whatnot, right? That can just exist as a thing in the game. It doesn't have to be tied necessarily to a specific event. I fully expect when we do get Castra that there will be, first up, just straight up contracts for Castra to Stanton. That cargo needs to get moved. It needs to get moved through either Pyro or Nyx. Has to be, in order to get to Stanton. In fact, I think it has to go through Pyro regardless, because you go like Nyx, then Pyro, then whatever. But you can make those, or like if you do want to make them a little bit more special, you can still make those contracts maybe appear once a day, maybe appear once every 2 days, that sort of thing, for those really big ones. At
or
the
high
same
rep
time,
or whatever.
Exactly.
Any way you want to make them rare, you can.
Yeah, you can have a thing, I imagine, because they've used similar tech in the past, that says when someone like Mike accepts that mission, that generates a mission for, if you have high rep with headhunters, Xenothreat, whoever, for, hey, someone's moving all this cargo through. So I'm just saying, what you're describing, I don't think needs to be an event. It just needs to be part of the game and will be very cool. The thing that you are describing will be awesome. I am very excited for that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with Croncy on the idea of less events and more the players telling the stories as much as possible, and doing these little things to kind of just nudge you in that direction for those stories to be told. But yeah, go ahead, Rakados.
Yeah, my thought was, as an event, there's more encouragement to get large groups to convoy or scatter or
fair.
Yeah.
You could still, like 100%, you could still do it. There's no reason I feel like you couldn't, and that could introduce even like extra cool challenges, like perhaps because you have so many people at once doing these convoys, you actually have people at a jump point with like multiple Idrises and stuff, right? Trying to just block this cargo from coming in. I almost guarantee you, I don't know if it's Elliot that like, is Elliot in charge of the mission team?
Yeah.
I imagine somewhere on Elliot's desk or somewhere in a Google Docs somewhere, they have, hey, here is an idea for a dynamic event at some point. Cargo running, pirate running.
Yeah. And what I would love with that to be is there's 2 win conditions, and whatever happens tells the story of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Instead of the automatic win that is save Stanton or whatever we've had in the past. There's two possibilities, which would be cool.
Imagine we have an event like this where it is, we've got a lot of cargo to move from A to B. It runs like once a month. If X amount of that cargo is successfully delivered over the course of a day, prices of XYZ commodity are affected. If not that many are delivered, those prices are affected, but in Pyro or something, right? Like or it's assumed that you can do that. And then you've got all these sort of interactions between players of being forced to move to different locations and being incentivized to actually, being incentivized to do those events past just getting a skin. Like being incentivized to do it, because if you don't, it's going to make your gameplay less efficient over the course of the next week or two.
Yeah. Yeah. You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just thinking about where to take this deck. Because like the map from Nyx to Terra, you could either go through Pyro to Terra, or it's Nyx, Castra, Oya, Hadrian, Terra. Looking at the map.
Yeah, it's a long trip.
Or you could take a transient jump point. Let's go.
Still into those systems most likely, but secret.
What if it was a secret special shortcut?
Hopefully, when they talked about the transient jump points, I don't think they touched on that they could go to. Oh no, they did. They said you may not necessarily know where it's going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could be cool, but sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Depends on whether it follows a star map or not. I don't think they necessarily want the transient jump points to go quote unquote further than the official large scale ones.
I wouldn't consider the current star map on the website to be accurate.
Yeah, there's big possibilities of that changing, but also I don't think it would necessarily matter the way they've talked about it, because so far the way they've talked about it is it's one ship at a time, and the transient jump point's down. So it's like, even if it does take you further and you don't know where it's taking you necessarily, that could be fine. You're kind of like luck of the drawing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're trying to get from Terra to Castra. You get into Stanton, you find a transient jump point, you're like, I'll risk it, and then you end up back in Terra. It's like, well, god damn it.
Yeah.
So they could be fine, but I imagine that's something also, just to point out, we're probably not going to hear a lot on transient jump points until we get all 5 systems, I imagine.
Yeah, and unless they start doing something security-wise at the Stanton and Pyro jump gates that make it really difficult for people with low rep. Like, I think we'll see if they ever do something really strongly with the rep system, then you probably find a need for them, right? At that point. So, I don't know. But you're probably right. Need more points to go.
The last point that I had was that other than Consolidated Outland and Misk, pretty much all the ship manufacturers are either one jump from Sol, Terra, or one jump from Terra.
Yeah.
The Misk,
yeah, Magnus has
Outland
Drake.
Are the exception.
Yeah. That's the only one I know, is that Magnus has Drake, but I will trust you on that.
Drake is okay. 2 jumps from Terra for Drake, because
close enough. It's through high security places for the most part, so it's fine. Cool.
Right.
Easy. All right. Well, yeah, it was good conversation. We appreciate it, Ricardos. Thanks for calling in. And we hope all of those things happen as well. And
cool idea
fun.
For an event.
Yeah.
I just want less events, but we're gonna have them, so might as well come up with cool ideas, right? All right, Ricardos, be good, man. I didn't give him a chance to say bye. I unclicked too quickly. My fault. But we'll bring in our next caller quickly as well. Pepic Walrus. Welcome, dude. If you can hear us.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
meet the stream. First, Mike, how's your tier 2 chest injury doing?
Yeah, I have not good. I think I'm gonna go to an urgent care today.
Yeah.
I had a nice little collision, and I either have badly bruised ribs or broken ribs. We'll see.
Oofed.
Yeah. So if you see
Yeah.
me going like this, trying to move, it's really hard. And then
Did it happen to hockey or?
Yeah, it happened to hockey,
Yeah.
and then I played the next day as well because we didn't have a lot of
No.
guys.
No,
So,
you're not
yeah.
supposed to.
No fear.
Yeah.
You literally said you were going to take it easy like that morning.
I felt hurt, not injured at that point. Now I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
injured.
that's all. But I thought it'd be fun to just go where we have no information on and speculate about Soul Savior.
Oh
And,
fuck!
Soul Savior?
This was a mistake.
Oh, is this the thing that they like copyrighted it and no one
Yeah.
trademarked and no one
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
any
yeah.
idea about what it is?
All
about
right.
whether it's
I don't want to be
tech
in this
or a
clip.
new project. And I'm curious what you guys think what you think if it's tech and if it's a new project. One for each. What you guys think? Because I have ideas for both.
I don't know, man. I know nothing about this industry. I know nothing about trademarks. There's like crazy stuff with trademarks where people will trademark something like 10 years before they even like concept a thing. I got literally nothing. I have straight up nothing. The only thing I'll say is I think it's unlikely they will announce that they are doing another game until Squadron is released.
Yep.
That's about as far as my speculation goes.
If they announce
think-
that they're doing another game before Star Citizens 1.0, I'll lose my fucking mind.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think if it's tech, I think I know how to put this in a way Chris Roberts would think of it. I think if it's tech, it's the Oblivion conversation system for the modern age, where NPC like dynamic NPC conversations, where
That'd be crazy in Star Citizen.
yeah, I
That'd
think
be wild.
I could see Chris Roberts thinking of that. If it's a new project, I think it's let's go back to December 12th, 2023. Chris Roberts is sitting in his M50 racing themed bed, race car bed, watching games.
Can we buy one of those? Can we get that on the pledge store, please?
Watching Game Awards where Sean Murray comes out to announce that they're going to take all the tech they've developed for No Man's Sky and they're going to put it on one planet to make a fantasy game. And then like Jim Carrey's The Grinch, he gets that grin where he's deciding to go down to Whoville. It's like, what if we take Star Citizen's tech and put it all on one planet for a fantasy game?
Yeah, he keeps thinking he can do what other people do that actually develop games properly and
have massive production companies backing them as well.
Yeah.
That's what I think it would be.
I think it is more reasonable for it to be tech.
Yeah.
But
I think people are just coping and hope it is tech,
for
but
sure.
I'm pretty sure it's feels like a game, and that's
it got trademarked
stupid.
2024, right? Like that was last year.
Yeah.
We probably will see more for 10 years.
Maybe we'll find out about it in the financial report next year about 2024. Maybe it'll get a mention there somewhere.
Maybe.
I hope not. I hope to never hear anything about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Genuinely, I wouldn't put much thought into it at all.
Yeah.
The trademarks are also often literally just Bill had an idea while he was on break, and we do not want to lose this. We're going to trademark it now, type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
I agree. I just thought it'd be fun to touch upon something we have no information on. Otherwise, if you guys could choose one star system that star system that isn't planned that we know about, what star system would you want to add next, like after?
Spider.
I don't. Oh yeah, Spider would be hella cool.
Yeah.
Spider would be dope. I have two. One is whatever the name of the system with the fake planet is.
Chronos,
it's like possibly. I think it's literally just called like fake world or like.
Well, yeah, the world is called Synth World. I think it's in the Chronos.
Synth world. Yeah. So that'd be cool as hell because I just love to see how they would do that. Would be awesome.
This is like Spider concept.
Yeah, this is Spider. For reference, my understanding of Spider is it's literally this section of Spider is literally like it's just ships that are docked all together.
Yep.
And you move around all the ships and you talk to whoever.
Which,
it's a big
like,
pirate system, right?
I
think it's also the head of.
Anybody watch Star Wars, the newest show? whatever that show is called.
Yeah, Skeleton Crew.
Unfortunately, no.
Skeleton Crew. They literally have this in that
Yep,
show.
it's also like Shipwreck
In-
Cove from Pirates of the Caribbean, basically, just starships.
Yep. In my head, I think of the flotilla from Mass Effect.
Yeah,
but
that
pirates.
came as well. What was the name of the system that you were talking about?
So it's wherever Synthworld is, which
believe it's
you say is Kronos.
I believe
Kronos?
so.
So the lore of it is like the UEE are trying something other than terraforming, and the thing that they're trying is to just make a planet.
They've been trying for like several hundred years, and it's not gone anywhere. I think in the Imperator vote, one of the candidates' leading points was shutting it down.
Yeah. My extended answer though would be like after those first 5 systems, I want to see an alien system.
Yep.
I want us to go to a Banu system, a Jean system, even a Vandal system. Don't care. Just somewhere that's a lot more unique. To see what CRG can do with it, right?
Yep.
All of the places we've been to so far in Star Citizen that we've seen so far are extremely human-centric, extremely Earth-centric. Yep, there's a couple of alien things, like some of the plants on Hurston are a bit alien-y. Even like some of the plants in some of the pyro locations are a bit alien-y, but it still feels very earthy. And so I'd love to see like go wild. I want to see CRG just like have an LSD trip and see what they come up for an alien world.
Hostile plants, Hades would be my choice with like a rare encounter, because that's the one with like the cryptid and like the destroyed, cracked in half planet. And being able to like random, like just rare, like rarely encounter like the cryptid. Like, oh, you got to encounter the Hades cryptid, make it like a 0.1% chance, like the shrouded ghost from Sea of Thieves.
Yep.
Can you describe what that is? I don't follow lore at all.
So in Sea of Thieves, there's megalodons, giant sharks.
No, not in Sea of Thieves.
Oh, sorry.
In Hades.
Sorry. Yep. So there in the Hades system, just in the lore, there's been mentioned of just this creature that may or may not exist. It goes by multiple names. Some of them are like Thanatos, the Hades cryptid, or Tobias, I think is one of them. It's described as just like, I think this blue skinned or like veiny, like blue veined creature that just pops up out at random, and people have brief encounters with it.
Yeah, just some creepy stuff.
So some sandworm thing, but like not it just
in space.
Yeah, but in space, but you can't
easily. It's also been described on ground as well.
Okay, cool.
I think it's described as a humanoid too.
Described as a humanoid. All right.
Yeah, I think
it's just Chris. It's just Chris walking around.
Yeah.
No, it's Tony Z. That's where he's been.
Yeah, he's actually one of these creatures now. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope. On my last point, I hope we see Tony Z or something about dynamic economy for 2025, Citizen God, and then,
I would prefer to see something about dynamic economy and not Tony Z, because every time he's got on camera, it gets to be, the game goes too out there and is not grounded in reality. I
always just picture him like folding into his inner mind palace and then emerging down to our plane.
It is so entertaining to listen to him speak. Yeah. But I don't think it's the best thing for the game overall.
Oh yeah, it's like these are great ideas, but if it could ever be done, make a dedicated Star Sim game, Tony, when you get the time. But other than that,
call it Soul Singer. There you go.
We solved this problem. We figured it out.
No.
All right, I think I've gone on. For
all right,
long,
Bebek.
so.
Be good.
Thank you.
Catch ya.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye now. All right, next is Call Me Teach. Call Me Teach, welcome.
Teach, how are we doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Howdy.
I'm sorry. I'm still kind of getting over the M50 bed comment, like the race car bed thing. Oh my god,
that was awesome.
That's one of the funniest things I've heard for a very long time.
Because it's probably true.
Yeah, more than likely. We don't know, but it's probably on one of his many yachts, so we wouldn't be able to figure that out very easily. Anyway, first thing, I saw the whole list of ships that they had on the direct development workout stuff that they're doing right now, and I do want to make sure that everybody understands the caveat with the Ironclad. It's more than likely only going to be the base one.
Yeah, it doesn't
To
say the
start with.
ironclad assault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure everybody knows we're probably not going to see that or the repair gameplay involved with it for a while.
Didn't the
Probably
back
not,
room on the
as-
regular one have something though, but it was just more
No,
advanced
it's just
than
a
the other
big
one?
open.
It's kind of
just-
just
Ah,
a room.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, just a big
I
open
mixed
room.
that up then. Okay, I
Um,
thought it was on
I
both for some reason.
I do expect the maintenance bay to be crafting adjacent in some
Mhm.
respect at the very least. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
why
no
I was
doubt.
kind of like, I don't think we'll see that until we get crafting, which at least in some respect is hopefully this year. But
Yeah, and they said that
Please
the
be
first
this year.
vehicles that they wanted to test that out with were the CSV FM and then the build. So
Yeah. Which the
Well,
build
the
is
space
not on the
is on
list.
the list.
Space building, they said they wanted that to happen.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Yeah.
Not crafting specifically, but yeah.
Mm.
Dynamic weather. Yes, I'm with you, Croncy. Please bring it. Bring it all. I want to see
Well,
every
it's just, I
ounce
think
of
it's
your
further
weather
along
system.
than. I think it's just further along than a lot of us maybe thought. Or it might just be me because I've been now saying this for like 3 months that I think it's further along than I thought.
Maybe. I mean, something's sitting in
yeah.
that R&D section for years. Like they've been talking about Vulcan in there
Yeah.
for 2-3 years. So you never know. You know, and global illumination
Honestly,
too, right? So who knows,
Yeah.
man? Just
I-
whenever it's ready.
I don't know how everybody else has been feeling about Vulcan, but me personally, I guess it's just because of how old my system is compared to most like standard hardware nowadays, but it still bricks my game. Like I
No,
can't
people
run
can crash
it
a
at
lot
all.
with it still.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited to see it, but I'm still
I still run
hesitant.
GX11.
Yeah, same.
If you
Yeah,
salvage
that's the
and you're
only
on
way I can get
Vulcan,
it to run.
it goes way slower. And they haven't fixed that.
Yeah.
So why would I? Yeah, I like salvaging.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it
imagine that's
literally
why.
doesn't-
I imagine that's why the news about them defaulting to Vulcan for dev tools will hopefully like push
Fix
that
some of
little
that?
bit further.
Yeah,
and make it so then that's where the starting line is for it.
Exactly.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So here's another, I guess, quite controversial thing that I've been talking about with my org in particular. Like 4.0.1, yes, it's a very, very mixed bag of bug fixes that some work, some don't. We're still seeing a lot that don't. I don't understand why Chapter 2 of Save Stanton is such a priority when all the bug fixes still aren't.
I think I agree with you 100%, but I think their logic probably is that Chapter 2 of Save Stanton was a 4.0.0 thing that never happened. That needs to
Well,
happen.
scheduling wise, I mean, I understand they're trying to keep
Yeah.
up with the schedule and make sure that they're getting things out on their timeline, which, everybody is.
And I think they believe in their minds, which their minds are correct, is that these events drive engagement and engagement equals good. And
Yep.
but it doesn't actually equal good because it's probably making the mission refactor more difficult. And
Yeah.
that's not good, right? The good is, and the good that we need now is mission refactor, server meshing working, and transit working. Like those are the things and economy and these like underlying systems of the game that we will eventually interact with and have a good time. But they keep
Right.
thinking that, talking about this game as if it is a finished product is a good thing to do, and it is continuously shown them that it is a bad thing to do, but they continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again.
Well, they do that, and then on the other side of that coin, everybody who owns the game is a tester.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, you can't say that it's live and it's working when everybody is testing it. You can't, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm in the same boat as you. I haven't played as long. I haven't been around the project as long, but I'm in the boat of I'm tired of being a tester.
Yeah, so tired. I'm so tired of it.
I just want to play.
I want me being in the game, enjoying myself, giving them the data they need.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I don't want to have to look at patch notes, go, oh, these are potential fixes. Let me see if they're fixed. Nope. Oh, let me go to the issue council. Let me message this dev. No. No, I just want to play the game, and then they're getting the feedback through their analytics and data and going, oh shit, that's broken. Oh, they're making way more money than we were expecting them to make. Well, we might need to nerf that. Or, oh, nobody's doing this mission. I wonder why, right?
Yeah, the amount of patience it takes just to play the game, and you think we still have the patience to go over to the issue council and write out our fucking problems, like.
Yeah, I don't have the energy sometimes for it.
No, I don't. Ugh.
It's
Yeah.
after all this time, it gets super, super old. But yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, but that was it for me. So,
All right, Teach.
Easy.
Have a good one, and hope to see you all healed up soon.
It's gonna be a few weeks, I think, but we'll see if it's actually broken or not. I think it's just bruised, but we'll see.
Best of luck to you guys.
All right, catch you.
Easy. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Bye now. All right, and our next and second to last caller is Warbot Nix. Welcome, Warbot.
How you doing?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure can.
Yeah. Funny enough, actually, a lot of the callers already took a lot of the things that I had in mind, but
That's
We're not talking about Soul Singer again.
I was actually not on my bingo card, but you know what? Sure. No, I'm kidding. Really quick, I think transient jump points foundation for it is in the game because when I was in my ES, it was the only one when I ping in the Phantom like Pyro like gateway area is the only one that gives me the indicator jump point detected in the HUD.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something is there to add them later down the road.
That could
But
be
maybe
the game degrading slowly in front of your eyes because it showed it on all the ships I used when it first was in like PTU and came out. So yeah. I don't know about that
I
one.
did not see it when I was in my Redeemer or in my Gladius, so maybe.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
when?
no, I've definitely had it happen in like all my vehicles,
Okay.
especially during the original 4.0 PTU.
And I don't have
it
an
was
ES.
all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least that means there's at least some asset indicating it then.
Yes.
All right.
Well, the thing is, I
intending
imagine that,
for
exactly,
transient jump points at some point. Yes.
Yeah, and the base tech of the jump points is likely going to be copied. The question is going to be how more complex are they going to go with the transient jump points? Like, are we going to be looking at procedurally generated jump points? Are we looking at copy paste, just different locations type thing? What's the deal with what they're doing with that? What I would say is I don't think we will get it at all until at the very least we get the like 50,000 kilometer scanning gameplay essentially, which will come along with quantum boosting.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Yeah.
there's a new scan for. Oh,
well, so when they've talked about quantum boosting, which to be fair has been a while, they haven't talked about it in a hot second, but yeah, the implication was that you would use deep scanning essentially. You would use that to go to jump points, other points of interest, missions, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually what a lot of the radar and scouting ships are for, and I think the Carrack was mentioned to also have that.
It's supposed to have that capability, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Cutter the Cutter Scout. The Cutter Scout has a very dumbed down version, but can do a decent range for its size, from what I remember. Yeah, and then to your last point, to the last caller, yeah, I'm glad he brought up the somewhat like negativity of going on with the stability and the just everyone's worn down by instability and being a tester. I do notice that these events that they run, there is a purpose to them each time. It's mainly just to do a checkup or to test or to focus test a certain feature because a lot of these new missions that did make it into 4.0 were in that new module that they were using for the Xenothread to Overdrive as well as Save Stat in Part 1 that made it through. And when they were doing introduce the freight elevators, some of the events did include a lot of heavy try to use the freight elevators as much as possible. So yeah, but it is getting to the point where a lot of my friends who actually just joined the game within the last 6 months, they thought it was the coolest thing ever, and now they are actually worn out already. So
yeah.
Towards your point, I think my assumption is that Chapter 2 is specifically about testing reputation and like actual reputation hostility, where when you work for one person, reputation B starts getting negative and how that impacts gameplay. That's why I think they're introducing it. To your point of like people getting one out, it's been a rough 6 months. We were waiting for 4.0 for pretty
Probably
much that
a
entire
year.
time. Pretty much the whole year, yeah, right.
Yeah.
We had our first server meshing tests right at the start of the year. We had the Pyro play test at the end of 2023, which still felt like we're waiting for Pyro type thing. And then it did finally launch, but it was only good for 2 days. Of course, that's going to wear you out.
Yeah, one of my friends, like, all right, I'm buying a Taurus. Like, no, stop. And he bought into the game with a Taurus. I'm like, oh boy.
Bought
All right.
in with a Taurus?
Yeah,
Can I get that credit card information?
Yeah, like, and I told him like, all right, first of all, you can't play the game with just a Taurus. So I sent him a the Intrepid starter pack that was LTI, and then I told him how to just upgrade the Intrepid to the Taurus. So at least he has a Taurus as a starter pack.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so not even right, yeah, not even a starter pack, just buying a JPEG.
yeah, I was like, please stop.
Did not buy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like people, there is excitement for this type of game for sure. There is a market, but
Yeah.
I have to keep telling people on my stream, like, I do not recommend this game yet, but if you do come in, make sure your patience levels are ranked up to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's enough of that one, because cynicism is extremely high, because a lot of YouTube comments are all about make the game playable or it's a cash grab now. So, but the one thing I do want to get to before I run out of time is based on the ships that they are working on, as a lot of them pertain to base building, such as the Pioneer and the little cart CSV FM.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
CSV FM. I don't know. Fun, weird name.
The one thing I am really interested in is how they're going to handle refining, because I love crafting, and we do have a lot of ships that have onboard refineries, and I wonder how if they're going to be active or like very passive gameplay. Because one thing I do not want to have, like, someone who's just doing refining, just sitting in their ship, just pushing a button. And do you guys have any clue or idea that how like they're gonna approach refining gameplay? Is it going to be like a small mini game where or they just tune it based off the material that they receive?
You take
the
over,
way that
Croncy.
they've-
I'm gonna bring
yeah.
up the sale for the Expanse. That was the name.
Yes, but things have changed since then as well. The
Do you know
last
where
that
the
I
most
remember,
recent would be?
the Galaxy, maybe.
I think the Arastra was the last ship that had a mention of refinery.
Possibly. But the last that I remember is that they were saying like ship refineries will be more active, and they wanted ship refineries to be more active, but you will still have the option of like idle refining, which for the purpose of crafting, I imagine, especially because what they showed, like all the different buildings that they showed at CitizenCon, you will be able to have like an idle refiner at your base if that's what you want to do. The hope, and this will come, it essentially completely depends on how they want to do crafting in detail. The hope is that something like the active refining can do a couple of things. One, obviously, it'll just be much faster, would be the first thing, right? You're not waiting 24 hours for a Dynic solventation type thing. But also the possibility of skill mattering for things like now they've talked about, material efficiency and quality of materials. Active refining, making an active difference, and that would be awesome, and could make those ships a lot better.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is though, these ships are not going to get developed soon. This is a post-crafting mechanic, so we will probably be stuck with idle refining for a little bit, or a long bit, but at the very least we'll be stuck with that probably at the start until they go back to looking at the expanse and whatnot.
Yeah, I was actually playing Helldivers, and one of the little mini games they had was like try to move the knobs with the circle. I think when you're programming the missile, I feel like if they could do something like that, where like there's 3 little like knobs that you can just like try to adjust and and then based off of the quality of material, one knobs can like basically you can try to figure out different combinations based off of the quality number.
Well, there's
And
even
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. There's even like a lot of people forget there is actually like a lot of mechanics in the refueling mechanic that people just don't use in terms of flow rate and making sure that you've got fuel in like all of the canisters and stuff. You could reuse a lot of that sort of style of gameplay and put it into refining and just change what the result is, right?
To be fair,
Yeah.
there's a refinery button right on that UI. It just isn't active.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wait,
here it says
Because the Starfare is also supposed to be a refiner.
on the Starfare UI for refueling, there's a button that says refuel or refine, and you can only refine is grayed out. This basically says it'll be faster and skill based compared to a station based refinery.
Okay. So I guess the
But you'll be
limitation is
refining
how
much
that's
smaller quantities per job.
Gotcha.
Global
We don't
speed.
call it a mini game since the mechanic will be a little more complex than that, but we have a general idea we'd like player-driven refining process to look like. It isn't final. First, you'll put the refinery sack from the delivery mining ship with a tractor beam into its intake socket of your expanse. Then you'll analyze the materials based on your finding. You must decide which refining process you want to use. You either pick a predefined method or the manual approach, which has you directly interacting with the material through interactions like grinding, melting, dissolving, and more. Our goal is to allow you to decide how much effort you want to put into it, so you can take the easy way and pick a well-known method, or you can come up with your own refining recipe. And then there was something about catalysts. So it will require some use of power, catalysts, and other reagents.
Which has since been echoed in their crafting panel. So like
Yes, it has.
that at least is still a thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
I can't even remember all this stuff. I'm glad you brought this up because, man, do I want this.
Yeah.
This
me too.
is
Like,
years before they settled on crafting mechanics for people that are asking in Twitch chat. This could all
I think the
different.
Expanse was started 2021, started 2022.
It was during the COVID years, that's for sure. Because I remember talking to a dev that was like, "Yeah, development starting on the Expanse this year," and they like said it to me in private, and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And it's 2025.
Yeah, there was a lot of ships that got pushed that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip. I think like my most liked tweet for the longest time was when they said that the Genesis Starliner and the RSI Orion have been put onto the not the roadmap, not the progress, not the roadmap, the progress tracker. And it's like, hey, it's gonna get worked on over the next 18 months. Anyway, that was like 4 years ago, and it got removed like 3 months after they announced that.
Yeah.
They probably just did like interior concepting for like a few months. They're like, never mind.
Yep. Yeah. Nah, we changed the priorities. We're doing Save Stanton.
Yep.
It's like, Chris sent a memo down. We're moving on to this thing.
Yeah, Squadron 42, which is what it's always been, probably.
Yeah.
All right. All right then. Well, I think my time is about up. One last very off-topic thing. Brother Croncy, have you brought SaltEMike into the fold of Balatro yet?
No, not yet. Though honestly, I haven't played it this week.
I
unlocked like all but the last deck, and now it's just pissing me off, and I don't want to play it. It's too hard.
Well, yeah,
I have to check this out.
You honestly do, because you were a casino guy. Like, this is sort of
it's
up your
not
alley.
It's not
Wait,
an actual card game.
Wait, is this the game that's poker, but it's not?
It's a roguelike.
It's not actually poker. It's just a roguelike that uses poker hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that game. I've seen it. I didn't like it.
Good.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a good game, but I'm too like poker brained to appreciate it, I think. It's just not poker, but it's poker, but it's not poker. And I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Poker's good enough.
Alrighty then.
All right, later, Warbot.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. All right, and our last caller of the day is Mav. Mav, welcome.
Hey, Mav.
Did we make it? We couldn't make it through a whole show? Okay, we did. Okay.
Howdy, Mav. You can hear us yet?
How you guys doing this morning?
Good, good. Can you hear us
Pretty good.
through our mics, or do you hear us through the stream? You're hearing us through the stream. All
Oh, no.
right.
Okay, that's better. I had your Twitch stream running concurrently, so.
Yep.
We know.
Happens every time.
All right. Oh yeah. So I think the only major gameplay feature we're going to get this year is going to be base building. And I think there's going to be once we get this 4.01 or live patch, whatever they want to call it, out, there's going to be a huge internal push to get that out. And I only say that because like 2025, it's going to be a huge year for MMOs and player housing in general. You have WoW that's going to add player housing
WoW
for the very
finally
first time.
introducing
What?
player housing.
So I can play WoW now?
After well,
I literally
yeah,
okay.
after
I
21
never
years,
played
kinda
WoW
crazy.
when WoW first came out because they didn't have player housing, and that's what I loved about Ultima Online. Player housing was what drew me and kept me in Ultima Online for 17 years.
See,
And then I
most
never
MMOs,
played
don't
WoW
care
because they
about it.
didn't. But
Yeah,
Ultima
most
Online,
MMOs, I don't care about it.
Ultima Online was like perfection with it. It was literal perfection. And yeah, any game that didn't
Yeah,
do it,
and
I
I
was like,
think
why wouldn't you do this?
I think Sig knows that, like, if they want, like, the biggest way for them to boost their active player base is to add player housing. That's gonna probably make the biggest impact because both of y'all know if they can get the game as we have it today in a playable state with player like base building on top of that, that's going to be huge because I see Star Citizen as like a huge extraction shooter. When I'm going down to these like planets to do missions, I'm collecting loot, I'm collecting player items, and I want to take it back to my base to show off. Like that's the high I get out of playing Star Citizen.
Which very funnily, I had someone in my stream today, relatively new to the game, while I was doing a CZ, ask if this was a new extraction shooter mode. So like, it gives off those vibes for a lot of people, I think. Yeah.
It does.
The thing that I don't share the same view as you do on the game, I guess. And like you're not wrong because it's the way that you view the game and the way that you play the game. But
yeah,
so you're 100% right, and that player housing would enhance your experience. But would player housing enhance the experience for everyone overall? Where player housing doesn't drive player engagement as much unless player housing comes with a crafting like thing. I know I always go into it.
Which it is.
Yeah, which it is, right? Like what materials do I need to make that base? And then what does that base do to enhance my experience? And obviously, I think when it first comes in, it'll probably be a fairly basic experience, and then we'll grow from there too, right? So I don't know. I agree with you, but
yeah, that was my hope.
But I think that there's others.
Like, if they when they put it in, I would like to have some sort of quality of life feature with it. Like there needs to be a purpose. But they don't need to build Rome and have it like super complicated. I think a lot of MMOs have shown that like Elder Scrolls Online, for instance, very basic housing, and then you just build off of it. But they don't need to just put in like a 1.0 and then abandon it and start working on other things. I hope they would continue to build it up and maybe have like a dedicated team to it. I don't know how their structure is. But I think it's a lot of it's gonna fall back to also the letter of the chairman, because the community, there's a lot of eyes on SIG this year, and they made it very clear what their intentions are going forward. I think a lot of people have disagreed how they've done things in the past, and it's just going to be a huge question mark because they're not trustworthy. I wouldn't say they've outright lied, but they've not followed through with everything that they've promised us.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a big shift. Like instead of the 4 seasonal patches that we have normally been getting, it might shift to more like just a yearly big patch with 3 supporting patches to go along with that.
Perhaps.
You'll
Kind
get
of like what
like
we saw
event
last year.
patches, right? You'll get a patch where
Yeah.
it's like, all right, cool. Here's our September event that we're gonna do. That's got whatever the dynamic and whatnot, but won't have like a ton of new content. Most likely, it'll just be existing systems
Yeah,
used a
throw in
different
like
way.
the Valacar thing, maybe, just like a little surprise. I don't necessarily want like a huge big roadmap. I kind of like it being kind of elusive this year of, what are they working on? It's certainly going to bring less disappointment. And maybe that's what they should do for a little bit until they're starting to finally get down the direction of where they want to take the game, and that's kind of new for the past 2 years. So
They've at least written it on a PowerPoint, and we'll see if they
yeah,
stick to it. Yeah.
Yeah, one big thing for this year when we get towards CitizenCon is all the non-squadron related stuff. I really want to see if they start talking about start talking about concepting other systems that are still completely missing from the game that they haven't necessarily touched on. Which, if you look at that, during the 1.0 presentation, the big list of all the different careers and how they may interact, a lot of that is missing. Certain systems will, be parts of multiple of them, whatever. But crafting was the biggest one for the longest time, and now they're actively working on that. All right, cool. So what's the next big piece that's missing from a finished 1.0? What will that look like? How does the concept of that go?
Yeah.
and then I just have one last thing that just made no sense to me, and I know it's like subject to change, but like if Sig is listening, when it comes to ship crafting, why 5 tiers? That just makes no sense. Like
Why does
if
that
I
make no
have a
sense?
ship, like,
You
because
don't even know
if
the
you can correct
details
me
of
if I'm
crafting yet
wrong,
too much
Mm.
to
correct
make
me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they said that you can skip tiers
no.
to where like. So what incentive would I have not to just go from tier 1 straight to tier 5? Why would I want to tier 2, 3, or 4? Like I could
Because
understand
you
3
Because you
so
can't
tiers.
skip tiers.
but also the higher tiers would have higher material costs. Maybe that material starts to become not worth losing once you get it to a tier 5, right? Not being able to skip the tiers as you advance through those ships. There will be a thing, I am sure, with the economy, hopefully, where tier 5 ships are the most sought after. But what you want them to be able to do is, let's say you have tier 4 Hornets cost, I'm just going to come up with a number, 100,000 UEC. Man, they're so cheap. Tier 5 Hornets, because they are that 3% better than a tier 4 Hornet, but they are the best thing they can get, they're 5 million UEC. And this is a thing that we do see in economies of other MMOs, right? The very, very highest things, because they are the best, economy-wise, are significantly disproportional money-wise. That means when Billy
Because
comes
the
in,
cost
if
of
they,
materials to create them is so much higher.
that too,
Typically,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So what ends up happening is people will still get the lower tier things because it's worth risking it a little bit more. And you still get a lot of good play out of it. You may even be able to beat those tier 5s and whatnot, but you're just not inching out the best performance. That's why you would want multiple of those tiers. Hopefully that's what they do. If even they don't do that, yeah, you can't skip tiers. You're still going to need to progress through all 5 tiers through blueprints, or if you do just want to skip a tier in the form of buying a tier 5 ship that someone has constructed, it's going to cost you a lot of money regardless.
Yeah.
So there's reasons for those to exist there.
Yeah. The whole
Yeah,
thing
as
that
long
they
as
talked
like
about is what the chatters are saying is you'll have a tier 5 blueprint, which includes the cost of all the lower tiers. You're not skipping anything.
got you.
It's
Got you.
just, I want to create a tier 5 this, but I still need to provide all the materials from all the other tiers in order to create that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, no, that's all I had to say. I appreciate the time today.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
for sure. We appreciate the call.
Thanks for calling. Yeah, man.
Also, thank you for letting us talk about crafting.
Yeah,
Hell
because
yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't want to go a day without doing that. All right, Mav. Be good, man.
Cheers, Mav.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Bye now.
Catch up.
All right, that kind of does it as well for today's show. So we survived. Me and Croncy were talking like, I don't know what we're gonna do today.
Yeah, I got no idea.
I
I
don't
will
know what we're
say,
gonna do.
I'd love to hear from a bunch of you guys in the comments, especially those like watching live now, watching the VOD later. If you want us to do like a show once a month, once every 2 months, or whatever, that is like, hey guys, floor is yours for whatever topic. Let
Yeah.
us know if that's a thing you want to do.
Yeah.
Because it is certainly a thing we can do when things are a little bit quieter.
And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yeah, it's
this,
good
so
fun.
I'm not against doing it at all. I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, leave a comment, and let us know. But with that, I think we'll say goodbye to you guys for this week. And like we've said for the last 3 weeks, I hope there's something good to talk about next week.
Some bit of news.
Yeah, but do the things like subscribe if you guys are watching on YouTube. If you guys are watching on Twitch, let me give a quick shout out to Croncy in the Twitch chat. All right, Croncy, done. Follow our streams. Check us out. We stream a lot of Star Citizen stuff and other games as well. But yeah, do all those things, and then also just don't forget
to get your Bar Citizen Sydney tickets if you are in Sydney in 2 weeks' time. Over 60 people are doing it, so come and have fun. But also don't forget to answer the call.
Yeah, that's good as well. Yeah.